Jay here, Stretford, Paddock. This is Paddock Live. That's Joe Smith. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Not too good, really.
Why, what's up with you? What's happened?
Something's burnt out my nasal passages.
You're not back on it.
No, I'm not back on it.
Jesus, Jay, you've had so many good years.
I stood next to someone who keeps dropping bombs. Anyway.
Fart bombs, not any other type of bomb.
Yeah, just to clear that up.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is live. As I've just said, get involved in the chat in the comments. We've got loads of stories to get through, including, obviously, United transfer news. We've been linked with a few players. Some I've heard of, some I've had to be reminded of.
Some going, some staying.
Some staying, yeah, that's a big, big story. We've also got some managerial news, updates, rumours, reports, whatever you want to call them, on what's happening with our current manager and potentially our next manager as well, and a bit of England news, because the England squad's been announced. So the first question is, does anyone care? The second question is,
I've got a question for you.
if you do care, why?
Does anyone care that the England squad's been announced?
Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't even know what the games are for.
No.
What are they?
I thought maybe World Cup qualifiers, but I thought we were doing a qualifier.
Yeah.
Didn't we?
Is this not? Are they friendlies? Anyway, there's an update on that, so we'll give
know.
you all that. Get involved in the comments and the chat, and don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe if you're not doing it already. Right, should we start from the top, my friend?
Take me through it, Jay. What
We've got Ryan Gravenberch, Ajax midfielder. Yeah, he's 19 years old, just 10 years younger than me. It says there, as you can see on the graphic, reportedly being scouted by United. However, Bayern Munich are believed to be the front runners. So this is a guy who's obviously part of Ten Hag's mob. Yes.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Hey, the firm,
Yeah.
Ten Hag's mob. And we all love an Ajax midfielder, don't we? Especially at United, we look after him well.
Yeah, and they always do really well here.
Yes.
And that never fails.
No,
ever.
it doesn't. We've been linked with him, as it's seen there. Bayern Munich are the front runners. I mean, there's nothing wrong with scouting 19-year-old Dutch midfielders, is there?
You sound like you've just been caught with your internet history around your ankles. No, there isn't anything wrong with typing in 19-year-old Dutch midfielders. They should be
You
equal.
do not punish midfielders, Dutch or otherwise, for being 19 years old.
You should, yeah, if anything, they should be rewarded.
Equal.
Right. He is meant to be one of the next sort of rising stars of Europe. He's one of those, like, literally rising star type players of, I think he's in, like, FIFA and all that. You know, one of those...
Yeah.
A man to keep your eye on type player. He's only 19, which for a midfielder is basically, a fetus. It's very rare that any team in the world, especially a top team, has a 19-year-old starting in midfield for them. Again, you can think back to a few, Fabregas being one of them, and there are a few here and there. But generally speaking, if you're starting for a top team as a midfielder, you're in your mid-20s. So the fact that this guy's so highly rated is obviously very promising, and the sort of player that United could do with.
He's played a lot of football for a 19-year-old. Made his debut, I think he was 16. I think he's the youngest player, actually, to play for Ajax. Yeah, he became the youngest ever Ajax player to play in Eredivisie when he was 16 and 130 days.
That's incredible, by
So
the way.
beat Clarence Seedorf's record.
Sort of like the Dutch Jude Bellingham type numbers, isn't it?
I mean, it's not even like he's, 16 and getting towards 17.
No,
He's like...
He's just turned 16.
Yeah, he was 130 days into it.
Yeah.
And has 141 career total appearances. Well, that's not counting his 10 Dutch appearances as well for the Holland team. So he's obviously played a lot of football, looks like an immense talent. The big fly in the ointment there is Bayern Munich believed to be the front runners. I mean, Bayern Munich are on the same level in terms of stature and kudos as Manchester United, and are also more likely to win trophies and challenge for the big honours than Manchester United.
And you know what as well, the thing that's easy to overlook is, yes, you're more likely to win the Champions League, yes, you're going to think, but imagine just how much of an easy life it is at Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
You're going to win the league every season unless you have a disaster. And even if you personally have a disaster, you'll get carried by the rest of the team.
Yeah, of course you will.
Even Lewandowski, he could have an off season and they'd still probably win the league.
Yeah.
Like, it's just an easy, good life in Germany, having a laugh, winning the league. You can see why they would be just a perfect destination. The fans love them. There's not loads of pressure on them like there is with PSG. You're all but guaranteed to win the league, and you can just piss about.
Yeah.
Like people like Serge Gnabry, who were like average, decent player at Arsenal, goes to Bayern Munich, looks excellent. Loads of players there that just, very decent to good players, just have great careers. It's a good destination, isn't it? Probably the best in Europe, to be honest, in terms of pressure and, ease of success.
Because it's weird, like the German league, because you're right, Bayern Munich win it pretty much every season.
Yeah.
But there are some good teams in it, and it's a good, it's a decent standard of football. Whenever you watch the German league, I don't watch it a lot. Whenever I watch it, you don't see dross. It's usually good games and what have you. And you've got a good possibility of doing well in the Champions League. I mean, they don't win it every year or anything like that, but they have had success in it, and it's not beyond the realms of possibility that it could go there and win a Champions League.
Yeah, well, they won 2 in the last decade.
Yeah,
Pretty
so
good.
that's decent. That.
Yeah.
So it's a good league and a good team to go to, and it's it has that kudos and that sort of stature of being one of the biggest clubs in the world. You go to Bayern Munich, it's like I'm at one of the big boys. So it makes a lot of sense, but.
Let's get him at United instead.
Can United say to him, though, that maybe Bayern Munich can't say, come and play for us and you'll probably start?
Yeah, you'll probably start. And also, let's be honest, you probably get twice what you're going to get at Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
Or, if they're going to give you 120 grand, we'll give you 200 grand. Yeah, we don't care that you're, a child. We'll just do out. We dare do out at United.
Yeah.
Like, it's gone from being like, it's like Disneyland, it's McDonald's, it's, these big brands. It's just, we don't give a fuck anymore. We're just like some old drunk uncle at the family barbecue now, aren't we? Do you know he's got loads of money in? Yeah, man, fucking spends it on noses.
Gary DeBola in the chat says, sure, he's desperate to come after seeing Donny excel. I mean, do you think that could play a part in it?
Donny Excel's a bit rude. Yes, he's put a bit of weight on, but to call him Donny Excel, Donny medium at a push.
Excel
that's harsh.
Spreadsheet, that sort of Excel.
Spread cheeks.
Yeah, well, if you want.
Don't know what that came from.
What is his word association?
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Sorry, Jay.
Do you think that could put him off? Can you look at it and go, yeah, Donny van der Beek went to Ajax, went from Ajax to United and just had a bit of a nightmare?
Well, we do struggle as well. Like, Blind was a good player, but never really quite did it. I can't even think of who else we've signed from Ajax in recent years, to be honest. I mean, let's look at the Dutch league in general. Memphis didn't really work out.
Yeah. Yapstam, what did he win in the 3 years he was
there? Yapstam and Ruud worked.
Hey, you know what I mean?
But
what did they do?
I don't know. I don't necessarily think that just because he went from Ajax to Man United doesn't mean, or that means that everyone who ever goes from Ajax to Man United from here on out is going to be left on the bench. If you're good enough, you'll play.
I agree with that. I just wonder, because it's quite recent with Donny, it might still be sort of...
And he might know
one of those
as well.
Where they go, Donny van der Beek went there, United are imploding, he didn't get a look in, I don't want to go there and waste an important part of my career warming a bench or, and also there's the fact he might not know who the next manager is, or the next manager might be his current manager.
Yeah.
So there's lots of ifs and buts. Maybe that could be the one that gets over the line if Ten Hag comes and can convince him to come with him. So we'll keep an eye on it, as always. We'll keep you posted. Let us know what you think about it. If anyone knows anything about him, we might even do a little bit of a scout report. Sometimes we do that. We'll chat to some Dutch journalists or maybe one of his former coaches or something. We'll see if we can get hold of someone who can tell us a little bit more about it.
It's good as well for journalists at the minute because we don't know who the next United manager is.
Yeah.
You can basically, not only can they report on the sort of overall, overarching signs that Manchester United are likely to go after.
Yeah.
They can also go after the ones that Poch might want in the Kanes and all that sort, and they can also go after the ones that Ten Hag might want. They can just write about basically any player in Europe at the minute and link it to some potential manager with United, can't they?
Pinch Weasel says, lads, would you take Conor Gallagher from Chelsea? Let's be honest, he isn't going to get a chance there.
I just don't think, if he's not getting a chance at Chelsea, why do we want him? I know he's good and he's impressive and he plays well and stuff like that, but just like, they think he's shit. We'll have him then.
Yeah.
Like, I know that's worked out with De Bruyne and Salah and Lukaku. I get it. I know Chelsea have let good players go, but I just think if they're letting him go, can we have him, please? On his way down. No, let's get someone else.
Yashkam is asking, is this an actual thing? I missed the first part. Are they sacking Rangnick or what? We'll give you an update on Ralf Rangnick in a minute. On what the latest news is, because there's a few reports about the board not being too happy with him. Move on to, there's more transfer news as well, or transfer rumours, reports, whatever you want to call it. Moussa Diaby, United, among clubs interested in the winger. You can see there, United, Arsenal and Newcastle are interested in Moussa Diaby. The French winger from Bayer Leverkusen has no release clause even. So, I mean, that can be a bit of a curse, can't it? We've got no release clause. Sometimes it doesn't matter. It depends who's going in for him. I mean, those clubs that are linked there, Newcastle are the ones that stand out for me because they've got unlimited money. So if they wanted him and there's no release clause, they could go, okay, here's £500 million. And United just go, because they
can't just spend infinite money though, can they?
Well, no.
Here's $1 billion.
You know what I mean?
We only want 16 billion.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Well, they don't. They've got the owners that are the opposite of ours in the sense that ours are like obviously trying to take as much money out of the club as they can. They're trying to put as much money into that club as they can for whatever reason, for various reasons. It's not for the love of Newcastle. It's for sports washing, isn't it? Yeah. But That's what they're going to do. They're going to spend big, and they could probably throw a lot of money at this kid if they wanted him. Don't know a lot about him. I know he's played for France a few times. Looks like he's having a decent spell in the Bundesliga for Bayer Leverkusen. 12 goals this season in 24 games. 16 in all comps. I mean, that's,
16 goals, 9 assists in all comps. That's good. Good numbers.
Good return. So he's looked like he's got good numbers. Feels like a little bit it's the unknown here, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, do you feel like this is the way we're going to go, Joe? Because we're on about this rebuild. I mean, you've spoken extensively about it on various podcasts and videos, and I know you've been chatting about it on the radio as well. Do you feel that because we need so many players, really, we need at least 4 players, if not more, and we've got a lot going, that going down the route of buying younger players is the answer, because we can't afford to go and spend 80 million on him, 70 million on him, 100 million on him, when we probably aren't even going to have Champions League football next season. And the players that are leaving, if reports are to be believed, only 1 or 2 of them is going to fetch much money in for him.
Yeah. What I would say on that is,
Yeah.
look at the lesser known players we bought in recent seasons. Fred.
Yeah.
How much was he?
50 million.
Wan-Bissaka, young player. How much was he?
50 million.
Like, I know that we have Tellez was a bit cheaper, but he wasn't bought in to be a first team player. Dan James the same. But even if we are buying someone with a view to them being a first team player, it is 40 million starting point.
Yep.
We walk into the room with 40 million in a briefcase and go, have that, and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Because that's just how it is with Man United. So I don't even know how much we'd save. Like, you look at the Varane deal, what was that, 40 million for one of the best centre backs in the world? Sancho, again, it was a lot of money, but he's one of the most highly regarded players in the world. It was 70 million. They're talking about 60 million for him. And I don't think they'd get that. I don't think United would spend 60 million, but we don't get discounts. So that's why you have to shop at the most expensive shops, and you have to get the big names, because you're probably spending 2/3 of what you'd get or what you'd have to spend on an established, well-known name for someone that isn't well-known just because we're United. So I don't know. Hopefully we can do more of that, the way Leicester have done it in the past, or Mahrez and Kante and Ndidi and these sorts of players that come in for barely any money and end up being top players for them. But sometimes I just think United struggle to do that because we're United.
I mean,
when's the last time we signed someone for under 30 million that was a success? Not including like Ronaldo, because that was just a whole.
wasn't Wayne Rooney like 29.8?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, which was a world record for a teenager at the time. Like, it's just so hard to do that as Man United, because people know we've got money, and even look at Ahmad. I know it was started at 20, rising to 40, but 40 million. He played like 80 minutes.
Really.
The fuck is that?
Amazing. I mean.
Yeah.
How much he could. I know again it's add-ons, so without add-ons it's not as big. But there's a chance that I don't want to hate on Ahmad Diallo, but there is a possibility he might not even be a top-flight footballer. Yeah. We don't know. It's the unknown. I know he was highly rated at Atlanta. We had Romano on the channel once, and he was saying that Atlanta was raving about him. But like you said, he played like around 80 minutes of professional football. So it's a big gamble in many ways, because you don't know whether he can handle the physicality, how it's going to pan out for him. And, he's been at Rangers and that's been patchy so far. I know he's still very young. So, yeah, you're right. It does feel like we do pay top back, no matter, even if we are going for the youngsters on the continent. I still think there are some bargains to be had. I think a big part of it may be whether the new manager comes in and he's got the confidence and the ability to just say, listen, this is going to take more than one season. Yeah. So if I'm going to bring in players, they might not be ready straight away. They might be ready for next season, but I'm bringing him now because I can get him now at a price that allows me to bring in a few of them. Would fans stomach that? Would they stand for that and see the long-term goals? I'm not so sure. We say, oh yeah, we would. But if we were sat in 8th after his first season, would we go, okay, we're all right with that?
Or what happened with Ole? Continual success, not success, improvement.
Yep.
Third with some semi-finals, second with a final. Bad start to the season, see you later.
Yeah.
And again, we all got to the point where we agreed, see you later.
Yeah.
But would we stomach that with anyone else? If Poch was doing that, or Ten Hag was doing that 3 seasons in, he's struggling at the start of the season, he's gone.
Yep.
So it's hard to do, isn't it? Anyway.
It is hard to do, my friend. Anyway,
job, innit?
It is. As you know, spring has sprung.
Oh, here we go.
And our friends at Manscaped
have
the best tools for some spring cleaning in your pants.
Yeah.
Right, trust me, your confidence will be blooming like flowers this upcoming spring. Time to clear out that winter bush and join the other 4 million men, and that is pretty much everyone in the world, who trust Manscaped.
Yeah.
Trademarked. Use code PADDOCK to get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com, because we've all had these sort of issues, haven't we? Where we've gone to tidy our winter bush and we've ended up nicking and cutting things. Well, with Manscaped, don't worry, they've got the anti-nick technology on their lawnmower 4.0, which, if any of you out there thinking 4.0, I thought the 3.0 was amazing. 4.0.
Let me tell you, the 3.0 was great.
Yeah.
But now it's got even more, Jay.
Even more. The 4.0 trimmer is ridiculous. You've also got the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, because when you get to my age, that is an issue. You've also got Crop Preserver ball deodorant.
I've got some on right now, let me tell you.
You need some deodorant. The bombs you've been dropping.
There's nothing that can deodorise inside there. No, that's the problem, Jay.
Exactly. You've got Crop Reviver toner, performance boxer brief, and a travel bag to hold all your goodies.
Everything. Manscaped. I mean, it's spot on, innit? We all know Manscaped. We literally all use Manscaped in the office. It's genuinely brilliant.
Can I ask you a question?
Go on.
Other than the one I've just asked you. Have you ever met anyone who finds nose hairs attractive?
Genuinely, no. It's just not a fetish, is it?
No.
It's just not one
And you know all the fetishes, don't you?
I know.
You are on so many of them.
Yeah.
I've
got them all saved in my favourites.
It's so weird as well, because he keeps breaking into my house and using my laptop at night and Googling them all. That's what I told my missus anyway.
Yeah, she believed it.
Yeah.
Because she's got a gullible fetish.
See that window? He climbed through there, love. Hey, and jumps out of it and ran off.
Don't do a DNA test on that.
Yeah.
Just give me that back. Milkshake. I spilt my milkshake.
Pulled my pants down when he was running out.
But what he did have was a perfectly immaculate bush. Thanks to Manscaped. Use the code PADDOCK for 20% off and free shipping. Link in the description. Just check it out. Click on it.
Check it out. Make sure you're going to get that Weed Whacker as well. So get rid of all those nose and hairs that you don't want, because no one finds them attractive, as Joe's already said.
It's Mother's Day coming up.
Yes.
Get your dad a Manscaped.
Oh, that's a gift for
him
and your mum.
A gift for him and your mum.
That
Think
is
about that.
Amazing. 2 free gifts if you purchase now. Free shipping, 20% off. What more do you want?
Yeah.
Hey? Paddock Live at manscaped.com. Check it out. Your balls, your missus, your mum, your dad will thank you.
Your mum.
Well, you started it with the Mother's Day talk. Filth. Pure filth.
Go to manscaped.com. Your mum will thank you.
They're getting worse, these, aren't they?
Rangnick, mistake. Manchester United board accept mistake on hiring Ralf Rangnick as tensions grow behind the scenes.
Me and you were discussing this earlier.
Yeah. I can't believe you, actually.
I like Ralf Rangnick. Has his tenure been a success? Discuss.
Well, has it been a success? That's not the same as was it a mistake?
Well, I think it is.
No, it's not.
All right, then.
It hasn't been a success, but it wasn't a mistake.
Okay. Right.
Would you like me to elaborate?
Yeah, please.
A success would have been beating Middlesbrough.
Yes.
A success would have been beating Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
A success would have been, being fourth and not potentially, what is it now, 9 points behind Arsenal if they win their games in hand.
Yeah.
Those things would be success. But we were in absolute freefall under Solskjaer. And I know Carrick came in and had those 3 games where we did well, but that's such a small sample size that I feel harsh on Rangnick to give Carrick the credit for what has been a more stable period since.
Yeah.
This team was just fucking carnage. And we were getting battered by Watford, battered by a shit Leicester team. Like, we needed someone to come in that speaks a bit of truth, that lets some players go, that allows players to, I feel like we're seeing this team more for what it is now than we did under Ole. He did such a good job of hiding it and masking it and protecting the players that we all kind of thought, oh, it's all Ole's fault. I think we've seen a bit of home truths under Rangnick, and I like that.
I do like Rangnick. I like the way he carries himself in press conferences. I just feel like the results have been a little bit underwhelming.
Yeah,
and I think you can make excuses and we can say, oh, well, yeah, it was all the wheels were coming off under Ole, and you're right, because the 5-0 against Liverpool, the 4-1 against Watford, the 4-2 against Leicester, those were abysmal performances, especially defensively. And we have looked a lot more stable. We've created a lot more chances. I think we're one of the leading chance creators in the Premier League. But we've had a run of fairly easy games after Carrick left. And we've flattered to deceive in some of those, because if you look at it, we drew to Villa and two goals up with 20 minutes to go, I think. Drew to Newcastle, lost at home to Wolves. You look at it, you go in the Middlesbrough game, it was a poor refereeing decision. It was a handball. Still 2 hours of football against Middlesbrough, and you can't get over the line. It's not great at Old Trafford. That's we've got to be honest. This is a Manchester United, and we should be doing better. And then there's other draws. 0-0 against a very poor Watford team.
But I think some of those, it's hard to blame on the manager. I know, obviously, eventually it all comes back to the manager. Yeah. Instilling even just that killer mentality, that the difference between someone who's a good coach and someone who's a great manager is just mentality and confidence and getting those players to get over the line no matter what. But I do think the Middlesbrough game, we had so many chances. There was a run of about 4 games where I think we dropped, or 5 games where we dropped points in 3 of them. and we were better than the opposition by a mile in all of them. The Southampton one was another one. The other one you mentioned there as well, I can't remember which one it was, but we battered teams. You know, we had way more chances.
Watford,
way more chances, barely conceded any chances, and we dropped points or got knocked out of competitions for them. And I don't think you can blame Rangnick for that.
I think the problem is as well, after that Atletico game, where I don't think we played well, and I don't think we created a lot of chances, certainly not enough clear-cut ones, it feels a bit deflated. And you start looking and you're going, you're right about that, because a few weeks ago, I was saying, it's not his fault we're not putting the ball in the back of the net. He's set up a system that is working. And you look at it and you go, we're in out of the cup competitions. I don't personally think we're going to get top 4. I hope I'm wrong, obviously, but I don't. And I just feel like, has this worked out how we hoped? Was this the right move? I don't know. The big sort of question that's still left is, well, there's 2 questions. What can we do to end the season? Can we still get top 4? And also, what is his role after the season going to be? Because he's going to be part of this consultancy role. But, according to some reports, he's like, they're looking at already before the end of the season offloaded him.
Cannot happen, can it? Would you be open to sacking him before the end of the year?
I wouldn't be open to, but
I fucking interim.
I mean, part of the problem with that is, I think if you were to get sacked before the end of the season, it sounds crackers to say that, but this is Manchester United and this is the Glazers and this is you just a board or a club that doesn't know what to do with itself. Like, let's say United lost the next 3 games and went, oh, do you know what? This is just the players have all fallen out of him. He's losing football matches. We're out of everything. Like, let's just get rid. Who takes over as caretaker?
I think the only way we can get rid of him before the end of the season is if the manager that we've decided will be next year's manager becomes available. But I don't see, let's assume it's Poch or Ten Hag, they seem to be the leading candidates. Neither one of those is going to want to miss out on having the domestic title in their CV. Because they're both likely to win it. I think it's quite tight with Ajax at the minute, but PSG are going to win their league. I think Ajax probably will win theirs.
Poch should want that as well, because he's not really got a lot of trophies on his
he's got
his
a
CV.
French Cup, and that's about it.
Yeah.
So I don't think we're going to get either of them before the end of the season, and that's the only way I would be, I would accept Rangnick being sort of sacked before the end of the year, is if they go, the manager we want for the long term is available. We decided to move Rangnick upstairs slightly prematurely, give Poch an extra couple of months, give Ten Hag an extra couple of months, but they're not going to do that. No, we cannot sack him now. What's the point?
To be fair as well, we need to qualify this story. This isn't like doing the rounds. I think this is from the Express. So there's a good chance it is just paper talk. Make sure you're hitting the like button. Let's get to 500 likes, over 1,000 people watching, only 88 likes. Hit that like button, please. I'm going to get into some of the comments as well. Danny Shields has been a member of the first team for 15 months. Good to see the board is still a collection of muppets leaking utter bollocks through the custis of the world to deflect criticism. Hope for the future. Just go into some of the other comments as well. Ross Murphy says it's all about good scouting and good recruitment. PTM says, how's it in doubt no matter what? He's going upstairs. I think there's a question as to whether he'll see the season out as manager, as Joe was saying, then though who comes in, and do we get in another interim or another caretaker manager? Are we really going to have a season where we had a manager, a caretaker manager, an interim manager, and then another caretaker manager? It seems a little bit unlikely, doesn't it? Even by United standards.
That's like Watford levels, isn't it?
Yeah, not beyond the realms of possibility, because United are insane with some of the decisions we make, but it would seem very unlikely. Juan Martinez says, Man United haven't been Man United for years and years now. Every issue comes back to the Glazers' owners. Fourth is the goal, it's the harsh reality. Ross Murphy says, hit that like button, and he's right. Viral Chavda says, caretaker manager did his job. Yeah, I thought Carrick did a very good job. I know, like what you're saying, it was a little bit easier for Carrick in a way, because he just sort of inherits the team straight away, like Solskjaer did when he came in from Jose. Right, okay, let's have a response. Gets that. What are you smoking at? Are you at it again? Oh my God. Oh my God. You absolute vile man. That is awful. You can take over it.
Right.
You can talk about the job Carrick did. What I was going to say.
Carrick did a good job at Manchester United, and you were a big fan of him, and you thought he steadied the ship, didn't you? I was trying to speak
I'm going to try and speak without breathing. He did steady the ship, and he got us through to the last 16 of the Champions League. We drew Stamford Bridge, and we beat Arsenal.
Just ignore it. It's just a bit of gas. Right, let's move on.
My eyes are watering.
Ronaldo set to stay. What are your thoughts?
Woohoo.
Yes. Right, here we go. Ronaldo is confident that the club will get it right with the next choice of coach. Why he's confident of that, I don't effing know. The Portuguese star has decided to fulfil his remaining year's contract.
Take him on for the team.
I know, yeah, cheers, mate. What I love is the modern football of how it's like, he's signed a contract to stay with this club for 2 years.
Yeah.
And for some reason, it's up to him whether he does it or not.
Yeah.
Like, How is that right?
Do you reckon he's got
How
a
is this
clause
possible?
about Champions League football?
I don't know.
Because he
Probably
is
not.
Ronaldo. Do you reckon he's gone, all right, when he signed the deal, he went, if we don't make the Champions League, though, I can leave my contract. And they've gone, yeah, no worries. If we don't get fourth, that's unheard of. That's, just sign Ronaldo. We've already got Varane and Sancho. We finished second. Yeah, put that in the contract.
Maybe.
But it could be. I don't know.
But I just feel
Or
like
he could just spit his dummy out and go, I want to leave. Let me.
This was going on with Cavani in the winter, though, wasn't it? It was like, oh, we might have to let him leave. We've convinced him to stay. What do you mean you've convinced him to stay? He's got a contract.
We convinced him to stay. And since we convinced him to stay, he's played 2 games.
Yeah, I'm not saying we should have, but this whole conversation was like, it's up to him whether he goes. No, he signed a contract that says, I will stay here for 2 years. Like, thanks for staying. Like, thanks for letting us know you're willing to play and do the thing that you've literally getting paid 500 grand a week to do. It's not our fault that he signed up for 2 years, is it? Like, I get it. Maybe we want to leave, and maybe, you can make the argument that that would be good for United or good for him. But this whole thing of someone always decided to stay. Cheers, mate. Cheers for deciding to stay. How nice of you.
I know.
It just takes the piss.
Toba Shile says, what happened to Manchester United? Very good question. YouTube says, what's he been eating? Beans, sprouts and eggs. What have you been eating?
I had a lot of eggs.
Right, there you go then. Well, that's off the menu next time me and you on a live. Glenn F
Found
says,
a pigeon.
I want a blue spanner for my 13 months. Blue spanners, eh? Don't we all? I want one. I've not even got one. Andy Manser says, since Fergie left, we have sunk quicker than the Titanic.
It's much more drawn out than the Titanic. That was done overnight. Those people were dead immediately. We're still hanging on for dear life.
Dragging on for years.
Exactly.
Part of me wishes it was quicker than the Titanic. Jeddy's Thor says, with Preston J, I'm telling you, the whole squad is suffering badly. It does feel like the whole squad. There is a sort of, I don't know, malady. A malaise. I was thinking malaise, and I went with malady. And, engulfing this squad. Players that were good last season, who are physically, in terms of their age and everything, should be better and at the peak of their career or, have improved, have gone backwards.
Do you know what that means, though, Jay?
Go on.
I see that as a good thing. Because that means so let's go through the team of who's gone backwards. Wan-Bissaka, Maguire, Shaw, Marcus, Bruno. Ronaldo's slightly different because he's 35.
Done.
Martial. Like, you go through the team, almost everyone has gone backwards. Jesse, you could say, has gone backwards.
Yeah, this time last season, he was the best player in the league.
Yeah, exactly. They can't all have just had either too many injuries or, all of a sudden are shit or can't be arsed anymore or all too... Like, there's no way all of those players are just permanently shit. So at some point, you have to look at the mental side of things. I think it's a confidence thing. I think it's a mindset thing. I think it's a not feeling comfortable thing or too much pressure or whatever for each individual person. I think the right manager and the right system and the right structure could get a lot of those players out of the funk they're in at the minute because it's too widespread to be terminal for all of them. One player, let's say Ronaldo, it could just be he's too old to score goals like he used to, fine. But that can't be the case for Rashford and Shaw and Bruno and Maguire and Lingard and Pogba and Wan-Bissaka and everyone else that's just shit. Do you know what I mean? There has to be something that can turn this around because that doesn't happen. All those players don't just turn crap overnight and stay that way. I've never seen that in a team before. So I think the right manager, the right system, look at the players under Lampard. Tuchel comes in, all of a sudden half of those players, like Kovacic was the sort of player who was like, yeah, he's a good player, but you don't know whether he'll start every week. All of a sudden he's incredible.
Yeah.
So many players like that for Chelsea. So I think we get the right manager in who the team believes in with the right system, we'll start to see the best out of at least half of those players and, hopefully all
in many ways, it was a similar thing when Bruno came in, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We'd just been beaten 2-0 off Burnley. We were 6 points off top four. We'd all given up on it. I remember speaking after the game and it was like, this is top four done.
Yeah.
Like, what have we got to look forward to? This can be disaster. We brought in one player who, whilst he was highly rated, wasn't considered the best midfielder in the world by any stretch of the imagination. He was 40-odd million quid, which, doesn't get you the sort of the elite.
Doesn't get you Wan-Bissaka.
No. And yet he came in, and it wasn't just that he was amazing, it was the players around him all of a sudden started gelling and clicking. And then I know you get players coming back from injury as well, like Pogba came back from injury eventually. But it was like the whole team got rejuvenated. And so I get what you mean, like a new manager, new system, like you used the example there with Thomas Tuchel, like Ole after Jose.
Yep.
He got that team that had one of the worst, not the worst, but bang average record when Jose got sacked, well, worse than a bang average record, to having a record-breaking run of wins.
Yeah.
And like some of those wins as well. This wasn't like an easy run. We went to Stamford Bridge, went to the Emirates, we won those games. Went to Paris, we won that game. So it was like difficult games, and he got a system with the same players that just gelled. The players believed in him. They wanted to play for him, and it all came good. Okay, eventually it petered out, but it did. So maybe that can happen. Hopefully that can happen.
People forget, or like to forget, how important confidence and momentum is in football. Because the modern style, the new, the trend over the last sort of however many years has been focus more on analytics and data and stats. There is no stat for confidence. You can't put a pass map of, momentum on the team. Look at Liverpool at the minute. 6 months ago, they were nowhere near City. Now look at them. The momentum is there. The confidence is there. They could win every game between now and the end of the season. They're the same team they were. And because there's no single stat for, the confidence factor, people act as though it doesn't mean anything. Leicester won the league on confidence and momentum. People win titles and trophies and leagues on momentum and confidence, and it's something that United really are desperately in need of, but it's a huge factor in football.
Confidence and momentum. They're two of the most important things, as well as motivation.
And
maths.
And Lucasade. Yeah? Should we talk about Thomas Tuchel?
Let me just get into this comment. Danny Shields says, do you think the stadium rebuild is to cover for not wanting to do the usual spend when we don't get Champions League qualification?
Yes.
Can't do the spend on transfers we need because we're investing in the stadium. Possibly. Wouldn't surprise me. And I think it might just be talk. We did a video on that. You spoke to Rio Ferdinand about it, didn't you? And we've done a little bit of a debate about it, so go and check those videos out. Ajmal Kosman says, Andy Mitten via United We Stand podcast said the players don't like Ralf telling the truth to the media, and the same source told him this is something that should not happen. Thoughts? Andy Mitten's very reliable. Very reliable indeed. Friend of the show, I've known Andy since I was a kid. Does his own work, has some good sources. If he's saying that, I believe him.
Yeah, me too.
If that is the case, I've not heard that podcast. I'm taking the word of the person in the comments. Can you see that happening? The players being a bit upset the way Ralf is, because you said it earlier. He's quite open and blunt with the media, and he says it. If Rashford wants to go, he can go. Martial wasn't available. Jesse wanted to go. Whatever. He comes out with the way he is.
Did the thing about Paul Pogba, didn't he?
Yeah.
You training in Manchester when you're fit. I just think it's great for the fans. I said this before. It's great for the fans, but you can see why politicians lie. You can see why managers lie, because it clearly causes problems, or players to face home truths or to face criticism and backlash that they didn't expect to face.
Yeah.
There's obviously a lot of sort of facades and kind of mystery around, he's ill, he's not in the team today, he's got an unknown injury, he's not in the team today. There's loads of things going on. Imagine you being a 24-year-old with 150 grand a week, Jay. Occasionally you might not turn up for training because you're bladdered or because you're hungover or because you crashed your car or whatever. All these things have to be covered up all the time. And there's always this veneer of dishonesty with anything like this, and he's kind of cutting through that a bit, and I can see why it's annoyed people. As a fan, I love it, and I think if it's annoying you, shape up. But you can see why, as a player, you're so used to being sort of lied for, basically. All of a sudden, that's not happening. Probably, people are going to get a bit pissed off, aren't they?
John Shin in the comments. John Shin said, in my previous life, I was born in Eccles. Good lad, John. I think he's having a bit of a chat there with someone. Thomas Tuchel, you mentioned him earlier.
There we go.
The way he rejuvenated.
The old tummy tickler.
Tummy tickler even. It says he's open to hearing United's pitch. Was he on The Apprentice?
Pitch is called Old Trafford, mate.
Yeah.
We've got a name for it.
On the next episode of The Apprentice, you will get to pitch to Thomas Tuchel. It says some sources believe that Chelsea manager Tuchel will be open to hearing United's pitch, with no guarantee he'll stay at Chelsea under a new owner. I mean, again, lots of ifs and buts. We don't know what's happening with Chelsea at the moment. They're in the doghouse, aren't they, with Abramovich's assets being frozen. They can't have many. What are you laughing at?
I love someone like an oligarch being sanctioned for his potential involvement in war crimes as being in the doghouse. In the doghouse. Not like, I stayed out for a few too many last night, I'm in the doghouse. Yeah, I might have, played part in a genocide. I'm in the bloody doghouse, mate. I won't do that again.
It did cover
pressing the big red button.
A multitude says that they're in the doghouse.
The doghouse.
I just couldn't be going into the geopolitical sort of machinations of it all.
Fair enough.
Yes, their owner has had his assets frozen and seized. Well, not all seized, because obviously the club's not been seized yet, because of his involvement as an oligarch in the Putin regime and what's going on with the invasion of Ukraine. I'm not dismissing that. No, you're not. Yeah. Just being quick though. We know what's going on at Chelsea. Tuchel may look at that and go, this is a mess. Also, let's not forget, if Chelsea follow their MO and Tuchel doesn't win anything, they might go, well, you can go anyway.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because they like to keep managers, even managers who've, like, you know, Di Matteo won the Champions League and got sacked 6 months later. They don't keep managers who don't keep winning trophies.
No.
So I wouldn't be surprised if it almost became a mutual thing where he's like, this is a bit of a mess. And they're like, well, you can go because you stop winning things.
Yeah, they get out before it's too late, don't they?
Yeah.
They very much stop drinking the milk 3 days before the sell-by date, that Chelsea board.
Yeah.
It doesn't smell off, but you know, it goes off at the weekend, so pour that down the drain.
Just get rid.
That is their motto with managers. So, to be honest, I know a lot of this is written because of the link between Rangnick and Tuchel, the play style, the sort of how he got his system from Rangnick. I get all that. I would be open to this, and I don't think it is impossible. Probably unlikely.
Yeah, I think it's come from Laurie Whitwell, this who's a friend of the show, and the Athletic, another one who does his own work. So it's good when you get sources, or you get stories from people that know what they're talking about. So yeah, it's one of those, isn't it? I mean,
would you want him?
Tuchel, 100%.
Yeah. Would you take him over Poch and Ten Hag?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
I would.
You can't dismiss someone who's won the Champions League. It's not a be-all and end-all, but it's massive. And also, he has had success elsewhere. He has had success in Germany. I think he won a cup with Dortmund. He has obviously won the league with Paris Saint-Germain. Okay, that's not exactly earth-shattering, but as you said, he went into Chelsea. He had a system. He found a system. It worked. I felt he was very unlucky as well in the League Cup final there. I think they were pretty much robbed, to be honest with you. And he looks like someone who knows what he's doing. Do you know what I mean? I don't think Chelsea
have been the FA Cup final as well. Let's not forget.
I don't think Chelsea have been that great this season. I'll be honest with you. I think they flattered to deceive a little bit. They had an awful run around. Was it Christmas time? I think where they just dropped out of the title race. But on the whole, if Thomas Tuchel was Manchester United manager, especially working with Ralf Rangnick, someone he knows, I think that makes sense, and I'd feel confident in that. With Erik Ten Hag, who is probably, you know, I don't know, from what I see on social media and people talk to, seems like he's the preferred choice for a lot of people. So there is a little bit of the unknown with him. I think more of the unknown than you get with Tuchel, someone who's managed in the Premier League. Yeah. Pochettino, can he go up against the big boys? I'm still very doubtful around that one because he's not really done it before in terms of breaking that glass ceiling when he was at Tottenham. They almost did it when they were up against Leicester and they ended up finishing third behind Arsenal and Leicester, obviously. So, yeah, I would be fully on board with Tuchel. Get involved in the comments, let us know what you think. Jeddy Stores answering this one. He says, sorry, Jay, but I'd take Ten Hag. We need a builder to remake the team. I like Tuchel, but short-term fixes aren't the answer. What do you reckon? Do people agree? Pinch Weasel says, Tuchel's ears bother me.
I can see that.
Yeah, I think
that's him when he's wearing the beanie hat to the cap.
That's probably the sort of thing that United board would say in his interview. We like you, we like your plans, we like what you've achieved. It's the ears. Sorry.
What do you mean? What do you mean there? What's up with my ears?
Don't tell me you didn't hear it. Anyway, let's move on.
Get out!
Yeah, sorry. Should we talk about the England squad?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you're about as enthusiastic for this one as I am. Marcus Rashford's not in the England squad. That's the big news there. Jadon Sancho missing out is probably actually more surprising because Marcus Rashford's form has fallen off a cliff. Jadon Sancho's probably been Manchester United's best player over the last month, but he's not done enough to get into the squad. Southgate was saying, because with other attacking players in the squad are slightly ahead of him in the moment in our feeling. Oh, sorry, I've missed out something there. No, I haven't. It's just, that's how it starts. Starts a sentence with because. That's explaining that's explaining Sancho's exclusion. I think there's the likes of Smith Rowe, Grealish, Saka, Sterling, all in there ahead of Sancho.
I'm sick of all them Arsenal lot. I know they're good, but fuck off. I don't care. Also, why would Grealish be in there ahead of Sancho? Sancho's had more goals and assists and is in better form in the last month than Grealish has been all season.
Part of me is just like, do you know what? Good.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just, I just think, it's more of an headache. I don't think it helps anyone. You saw what happened to Sancho and Rashford during the Euros. They missed a penalty, what did you do? And then they got absolutely hammered. I know it's not going to be quite the same this time round, but I just think England often doesn't help anyone. It doesn't give you a confidence boost. It doesn't help you improve your form.
Maguire.
It doesn't. Yeah, it's just even when something good happens with England, like Maguire there, he scored that goal, fingers in his head. It's more pelters. It's more anger. So I just feel like, you know what? I'm over it. I don't really care. Obviously, Maguire's in there. Some people have gone, well, why is he in there? But Southgate loves Maguire, and he's been an integral part of his team ever since Southgate took over. And I was having this argument with him before with someone. There's like, when you have an England squad or any international team, there are certain players that are almost in your team, no matter what they do for their club. They're like part of your team. They're just so important to the way you play, and they've done such a good job for your team that if they're having a bad time of it for their club, you're almost not bothered. Do you know what I mean? It's like the bulletproof. And I think Maguire falls into that category.
Definitely.
He's always been one of Southgate's main men.
And let's be honest, one of the best performers.
Yeah.
Like, even in the last set of your fixtures and qualifiers and friendlies, like you said, scored, 2 goals, was it? Fingers in the ears. I mean, obviously that backfired on him in the end, but he certainly was playing well. And he's not really put a foot wrong in an England shirt for 2 years.
No.
Like, of course he's going to pick him. Rashford's different. Like we said before, Rashford has actually never been a guaranteed starter at any tournament, despite being in United's first team for 6 years. So it doesn't surprise me Rashford's not playing. Sancho, again, never really been a first name on the team sheet for England. It's a shame for him because he's playing well, but that's not to be unexpected.
Sancho only got, I think he got a game against Ukraine, didn't he, in the Euros?
Yeah.
And then got a penalty, that was it.
Yeah.
On Rashford, Southgate says it's difficult for him, it's a difficult time for him. It's clearly not his best. There's plenty of time. We know a lot about Marcus anyway, and hopefully he can rediscover some of his form. Yeah. I think that Marcus Rashford, if he were to rediscover his form, he'd be straight back in that England squad.
Definitely.
I think Southgate, despite the fact that you're right, he's never been a first choice for him, he's always been an important part of his squad. I think he's always had a sort of, not a soft spot, but a belief in Marcus Rashford, Gareth Southgate. He's played a lot of friendlies and qualifiers and things like that. He has featured in tournament games, or not as a first choice, but he's got minutes.
Yeah.
So I think if Marcus Rashford, let's not forget the World Cup isn't in the summer, it's in the winter. So if Marcus Rashford, has a good end to the season and starts next season well, I think he'll make the World Cup squad. I think he's got a head start on a lot of the other players that aren't in the squad because of what he's done also in England shirt. His record for England is pretty good as well. I know people sort of look at it and go, the Euros, he didn't do anything, he missed that penalty. But since he's come into the England squad as a teenager, he's always done well.
And he was injured as fuck in that Euros, wasn't
he? It
shouldn't really have
backfired
been there,
massively.
Yeah.
I understand why he did it because we spoke about it before the tournament. You say, your opportunities at international tournaments are so few and far between, and you might not get another one. We spoke about Theo Walcott, who went to the World Cup as a 17-year-old, and people go, he'll have another World Cup. He never went to another World Cup, and he's not going to now. It's like, you just don't know what's going to happen with you. So I can understand why Marcus was desperate to go to that. Yeah, Wiltshire, exactly. Marcus was desperate to go to that tournament. With hindsight, which is a wonderful thing, it didn't do anyone any favours, and he should have just got the operation straight away. But he didn't, and hopefully he can return anyway and get back to the Marcus Rashford we all love, because as we've seen this week, it's not been a great week for him, and it just pains me to see what's happening.
I loved Ian Wright on that today, by the way. I like that.
Yeah.
Just like, if anyone didn't see, basically, because obviously Rashford didn't really apologise, but kind of explain himself. And Ian Wright was just like, don't fucking apologise.
Yeah.
Someone's being a dickhead, just tell him to shut up.
Yeah.
Like, they can give it to you, you can give it to him back.
Yeah.
Just don't worry about it.
That's what I mean. To be honest with you, there's a lot that goes on in football. I get it as a fan, you get angry. I get angry as a fan. Waiting after the game for hours to slag off players, I just don't get. No. I don't understand at all. Your own players as well, even if opposition player, I think it's a bit weird. But waiting after a game to slag off your own players, and then if a player fronts up to you, so what? All these people, he shouldn't have done that and that. Well, why not? He's a human being. He's getting a load of grief. Yeah. He's from Wythenshawe as well. Anyone knows Manchester, people in Wythenshawe don't shirk fights. So whatever he wants to turn around and say, what are you saying? Do you want some of it?
And also, if that's a story of a player from the 90s, everyone goes, oh, remember how football used to be?
Yeah.
When the players would go to the fans if they're having a go, and they go, all that shit, and loving it. And then Rashford just goes, what are you fucking saying?
Yeah.
And everyone's lost their mind.
People need to remember Max as well. He got a lot of praise, but I read a stat somewhere. He's, I think, the most abused footballer on social media, or not ever, but in the world. Yeah. He gets more abuse, or he's had more abuse over the last year, I think, than any other footballer. Which you consider that this is a player who, over the last year or whatever, has done so much good, and has, up until recently, been very productive in terms of goals and assists and stuff. Yet, why is he getting so much abuse? And I think there is a bit of a backlash towards him because of what he did.
It's political.
Yeah, a lot of, he made the government do 2 U-turns. He was sort of, he got an MBE, everyone was loving him. And you're always going to get that element of people waiting for you to fail. Now, I'm not saying he doesn't deserve criticism. I've criticised his performances, but a lot of what he gets is just abuse. It's not, you aren't playing well, you're not good enough. It's, you're a dickhead, fuck off, and all that sort of stuff. Which you think, all right, it's crossing the line. And we saw a lot of things that went on the other night where you go, I saw that about, Maguire getting jeered and cheered when he got subbed and all that, which I don't really think that's counterproductive to a player that's obviously
someone who I didn't think had a particularly bad game either.
Yeah, I think I think with Maguire, he's just he's under such a microscope now. Anything he does that's not good just gets amplified. And it's just, all just feels a bit toxic at United in a minute. Massively. It does. And I know you can't look at a few people stood outside a stadium shouting things at a player is indicative of everyone, but it just adds to that overall feeling that it's not a happy camp, is it? Hopefully we need to, get back to how we were.
But we've got some good things to look forward to. New manager, which always brings optimism and positivity. Transfer window coming up, also always brings optimism and positivity. Hopefully next season can be better. But, to be honest, I ain't giving up on top 4. Arsenal looked all right yesterday. They were getting praised like they beat Liverpool. If you went on social media after that game last night, you would think Arsenal won.
Yeah.
Oh, weren't they so fucking... They lost. They didn't look like scoring,
I was
really.
flicking in and out of the game because I was doing some stuff. I was at football and then I was having some sweet and whatnot. I thought Martinelli had scored a hat-trick.
Yeah.
It's the way he was trending. I thought it was like, something's gone down here. What's he done? Martinelli, class. Fire emojis, Martinelli. Yeah. I thought, he's just scored a worlder. No. And he nutmegged Jordan Henderson.
Yeah, and he knocked the ball past Trent once, who is a notoriously great defender.
That defensive fullback Trent Alexander-Arnold.
People were just about got their trousers up from one pass that he did over the top to realise he's actually bang average defensively. Obviously, he's a very good player. I'm not knocking him. But Martinelli knocking the ball past him and getting it on the other side, like I said, for some reason, it's just great. Right, it's easy to love Arsenal.
About that mentality of, we only got beat 2-0, at home to Liverpool. Isn't that wonderful? Yeah. That is such small-time mentality.
There was more stake for United beating Tottenham last week from pundits, from Twitter, from social media, than there was for Arsenal losing to Liverpool last night. Like, you would think the two results were the opposite. Yeah. It was unbelievable.
It was unbelievable. I'll be back tomorrow morning with the news. I'll be live here from the studio at 10:30. If you're not checking out the members section, go and check that out. There's a Desert Island Discs video with you and Adam McCullough. You're giving McCullough a bit of a quiz there.
Learn a little bit about Adam McCullough.
Learn a bit about. You get access to an exclusive Telegram chat as well, and 20% off merch. So it's extra content and extras there for the members. But go and check that out. You click on that join button. You can become a member. If you're not doing as well, make sure you're subscribing to the channel. Let's get to 700,000 subscribers by the end of the season. With your help and support, we can do it. Joe Smith, you can go and find him at JoeSmith93 on all your socials. Yep. Check out his interview with Rio Ferdinand as well. What I love about that interview with Rio Ferdinand, great interview. I know you didn't have a long time with him, but it was really good. And you're professional and you ask great questions, but I can see there's that thing in your eyes and like, Rio Ferdinand. I love that. I don't ever want us to lose that when we have this on this channel because
we are fans of Man United.
And there is always going to be that element of, I'm fucking interviewing Rio Ferdinand. We should be. Yeah. I don't want us ever to lose that. It's fucking great. So go and check that out. Chatting about the new stadium and all that stuff as well. This has been Paddock Podcast. Oh, no, it's not. It's been Paddock Live.
Yes.
Thanks as well to Manscaped. Check out Manscaped. Link in the description. You get 20% off and free shipping and 2 free gifts with their latest performance package.
Too much.
Too much almost. Thanks for watching.